Alright folks, Joe Robert here. You are now entering a guru-free zone. I make videos here on my channel to help you start, grow, and scale print-on-demand businesses on Shopify. And today I have another questions video for you. What we are going to do is we're going to pick some questions from this post right here. Every single Monday inside of the POD Ninjas Facebook group, I make this post and I ask you guys to submit questions for me to answer on a video like this. Here are the questions that we are going to be answering today. The first one is coming to us from Warner. He is asking about whether or not he can transition a dropshipping store to a print-on-demand store. Another question is from Neliki. Hopefully I am pronouncing that name correctly. Basically wants to know if you have a product that is selling well, if you would ever consider buying it in bulk or printing it and shipping it yourself to save on costs and increase your profits. The next question is from Carol, and she wants to know about SEO and whether or not it is basically a good strategy to use with a Shopify print-on-demand store. And our fourth question for today is actually from YouTube, not from the Facebook group post. So if you guys have more questions, you can drop them down in the comments below. But here is the question right here on the screen. Basically, this person wants to know if it is possible to use any sort of a Shopify app so that if you are using multiple print-on-demand apps that you can somehow send all of the products together to your customer in one shipment, basically to give them a better experience. So we'll jump into answering all of these questions right after this. Alright guys, before we jump into this video, if you think I'm doing a good job, please drop a like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel. It really helps my small channel to grow. Also, if you're looking for some more resources, make sure to check out my free print-on-demand course as well as my print-on-demand Facebook group. Both links are down in the description. So like I said, question one is from Warner, and he is asking about whether or not you can convert a dropshipping store to a print-on-demand store. And I see questions like this all of the time. The simple answer is, of course, you could just delete everything on your store and convert it to a print-on-demand store. You could even get a new domain for your store and connect it so that you could access it with a new name if you wanted to. I see people ask questions like this a lot. People also ask things like, can you combine dropshipping and print-on-demand on the same store? And again, the answer is, of course. There is nothing stopping you from doing this. However, you would want to make sure that it makes sense to do so. For example, if you were going to sell drop-shipped hunting equipment like different gadgets or something like that that people would take hunting, but then you also wanted to sell unicorn hooded blankets, it probably wouldn't make a ton of sense to combine the two of them together, although you definitely could if that was what you wanted to do. There's nothing that's stopping you from either combining POD and dropshipping or literally deleting everything on your dropshipping store and then turning it into a print-on-demand store. Our next question is about whether or not I would ever consider buying my winning products in bulk, printing them, shipping them myself in order to save on costs. And the short answer is hell no. I got my start online with an eBay business. I was ordering products in bulk and shipping them myself. I was shipping hundreds of orders a day, and I would never do that again. Now, with that said, if you guys follow my content a lot, you know that I basically recommend a lot of print-on-demand products that are going to make you some really good profit margin. I pretty much tell people to avoid selling t-shirts or hats and other low margin products like that. And that means that you probably can't print those yourself. If you guys check out this video here where I go through the top 50 print-on-demand products, I would say about 90% of those, things like blankets or canvas wall art or car seat covers or even print-on-demand jewelry, is not something that you would be able to print yourself. And then when it comes to getting them in bulk, I don't really know where you would go for that. Now, obviously, if you are selling t-shirts, you could certainly find a place where you could get your shirts printed in bulk and then you could ship them yourself when you get an order. But for me, like I said, I will never go back to shipping things myself. I think once you find yourself in a position where you have to ship hundreds of orders per week yourself, you're probably going to think twice about trying to go back to something like that. But like I said, most of the products that I recommend you to sell are not something that I would even know where to go to get them printed in bulk, and I don't think that the equipment that would be needed to actually print some of these products is actually something that would be affordable and good for a situation like this. The third question here is from Carol, and she is asking about SEO as a strategy, right? She says in her question, what if you are going for organic Google search and not focusing on paid ads? Now, what I want to do is I sort of want to talk about the overall strategy that I would recommend for print on demand, right? It is to pick a high margin print on demand product, pick a great niche, and then make a great design, and then use highly targeted Facebook ads to quickly sell the product, right? That to me is the most ideal scenario. The idea that you would want to start a Shopify print on demand store and then focus on SEO as your primary traffic generation source, to me is not a great strategy. And I see a lot of people who might be newer to the internet or just newer to business in general that think that SEO is something that you can just put a little bit of time into and make it something that is going to generate consistent traffic to you. The fact is that if you are going to create a Shopify store and you were going to focus on SEO, it would likely take you months, potentially even years, to see any sort of major incoming organic traffic. And that is because SEO is not easy. You can see here in her question, she talks about product titles, keywords in the product titles, even potentially some things down in the description of her product. And honestly, SEO is much bigger than just what is written on your store in terms of your product titles and your descriptions. Let's take a look at this right here. This is an article that I found detailing some of the most effective ways to improve the SEO of your website. And what do you guys notice? There is nothing here about keywords and product titles, right? It all has to do with tags on the store, basically some coding behind the scenes, and the most important is what is called a backlink. Now, quick disclaimer, I am certainly not an SEO expert by any means. I have looked into it because there was another online business model that I did want to explore at one time that had a lot to do with SEO, so I do understand a little bit about it. And the most important thing is having backlinks. Now, a backlink is just where another website on the internet is linking to your store, okay? Websites that are showing up high in Google search, meaning if you Google something and something is showing up first, that means that that website is probably being linked to from a lot of other websites. Let's put it this way. Let's say that I had a blog, right? And I wrote an article, and in that article, I linked to your store. That is a backlink, right? In order to actually rank with Google and SEO in general, you want to focus on generating as many backlinks as possible. That means getting other people to write content about your store or doing things on the internet, writing your own articles in different places and getting people to link to your store, not by simply just focusing on product titles and keywords in your description. It's got to be much more than that. And like I said, I showed you that article with all the different things that they recommend, and none of it had to do with the titles of what you were naming your pages or your products. And I think more importantly too, right? When you're going to start a print-on-demand store, in my opinion, like I said, the most effective way to be successful, right? And let's define successful for a second, right? Successful to me would mean consistent daily sales, right? Of any amount, 1 sale, 2 sales, 25 sales, right? The thought that you're going to achieve that with just SEO as your primary source of traffic is very, very slim. I don't think I know anybody, I've never come across anybody out there who has succeeded with e-commerce who solely survived on SEO traffic. And maybe they used other things too, but I've never met anybody who has made SEO something that they prioritized over paid traffic. And to me, like I said, you're probably wasting a little bit of time there. I think things will go much quicker if you focus on paid ads rather than SEO. I'm not saying not to focus on SEO if that's your long-term goal once your brand is established, but at the beginning, I think, definitely optimize your site and things like that, but you're probably not going to be ranking on Google anytime soon. And our last question, again, this one comes from YouTube, right? And this person is asking about whether or not an app exists that is going to allow you to combine shipments when using multiple print-on-demand apps. Now, honestly, the simple answer here is no way. This would not be possible because let's say that you are using Printify and you are using Printful to ship products, right? they're both going to be shipping from Printful and Printify. This would require you to have both of those products sent to a central location first, boxed up together, and then mailed to your customer. To me, that's just not something that would be possible. It's just not something that I think is even that big of a deal, right? In this day and age, when you're ordering things online, let's take Amazon, for example, the odds that you are going to receive multiple packages from Amazon, potentially on even different days, is probably pretty high. If you guys are like me, you're probably getting Amazon packages to your house all of the time. And it's very, very common for things to arrive on different days or even in separate boxes, even if they are from the same order. So I don't think this is a big deal. And to answer your question, there is no service like this that exists because, like I said, it's just too complicated. The products are going to be coming from two different spots. You'd have to ship them to a central location and have someone else box them up and then mail them to your customers. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this questions video. Like I said, if you want to submit a question, I make this post every single Monday inside of the POD Ninjas group. The link is down in the description if you're not a member. And if you already are a member, just look out for that post, ask a question, and it could be featured in a video like this. So thank you guys for watching. Smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.